the management, the acquisition of talent, and my perspectives on business have fundamentally changed from what they were 5 years ago. I used to think it was all about strategy. Now I think it's all about people. And because if you find great people build great strategy and execute great strategy to build great companies. You can't build a great company without great people. And I just didn't think that when I was younger. I was like, I can willpower my way through it. And it's just, even if you can't do it forever. Or maybe you can, I don't know. But for me, like at a certain point, it wasn't worth it. And in order to scale, like only one man only has two hands. And so you have to have more hands and you have to have more people aligned with your mission. And so here's some of the conclusions that I've had around talent over the last however long. Better understanding of intrapreneurs versus entrepreneurs. So I had a big, I used to say like, you need to find intrapreneurs, not entrepreneurs. Silly. It was a false binary. Intrapreneurs and entrepreneurs exist on a continuum. You have some people who are either more or less entrepreneurial, and all of those things can change given a dynamic. Plenty of people were employees, got laid off during COVID, and decided to start making money on their own, and then found out they did have an entrepreneurial streak, right? And so I used to think that this was much more like born, and I think now that it's much more made. And I never would have considered myself a big risk taker. I did everything by the book, for basically all my career. And I was only very lucky that I hated my life so much that I was willing to quit everything to start a business. But that is not common. And it was still one of the hardest decisions of my life. And seeing how easily some people quit their jobs compared to how long it took me to do it, even when I had no stake, I had no family, I had no kids, it was still the hardest decision of my entire life. I really do think more and more that entrepreneurs are made rather than born. And it is, again, a continuum, and that continuum can change. Where you sit on that continuum can change based on your circumstances, right? And so I think that there's this like, he's a pure entrepreneur, he's not a pure entrepreneur. And to me, I feel like it's like in this context for right now, and that can change. So that was something that I thought was interesting. In that way, when we're recruiting talent, I'm not really looking necessarily for entrepreneur. It's just like, is this person aligned with where we want to go? And are they motivated intrinsically by getting there, right? If so, then they will be entrepreneurial if we can create the environment such that those character traits come out. And I'll tell you one thing that sealed the deal for this is that Layla's father was the dean of the mechanical engineering department. So academic, all the way tenure, the whole, like literally the most security, driven career path of all time. And I remember saying, I was like, if he can start doing entrepreneurship, I was like, I will change all of my views. Because I mean, literally like an engineer in academia, tenure, like it's just like all of the most security driven things. And lo and behold, here he is now, starting his entrepreneurial dream now that he retired, and he's making money. And I'm just filled with pride seeing that. But at the same time, it was such a testament to the fact that we can change our stars. We can be what we want to be. And that was just such a big, profound proof point for me that it really shifted the way I saw talent and entrepreneurship in general. Next one was, in terms of finding talent, it's now my feeling that it's better to find a 400 batter than to teach someone how to swing, right? I would rather find people who are really, really good already and then orient them rather than try and teach someone how to do the thing. Right now, you might not be able to afford that at a certain point in your business career, but that is still the ideal that I would go towards. And if you look at what Steve Jobs was able to do in his career, he was really the assembler of great people towards a common mission and goal. And that is what creates big companies, is lots of people aligned in a specific direction to something that is meaningful. Which again, if the point of your company is to make you money, it's not that meaningful for a lot of people. And so it has to be something bigger than you. And that again is something that I had to learn. Once you do that, you need to get out of their way, really. And so I have a friend of mine who owns a company, and he's a CEO of that company. And the founder of the company, made him CEO, but he's not really a CEO by the true sense that he's not actually executing and like leading the stuff, because the founder is micromanaging, which either means one of two things. You either don't trust the person to do their job, or you're not good at hiring people. That's it. It's like either the person has the talent and you need to trust them, or they don't have the talent, which means you suck at hiring. But either way, we suck. And so once you do have the right person, we have to extend trust, even if that person hasn't, quote, earned it yet, because it's the only way that the machine runs. And trust is typically reciprocal, and sometimes you have to give it first. And you will make more by giving it than by deciding to live a life without trust, even if you get burned. So that has been a lesson for me from the last year. One of the next ones was A players are the things that really grow business. And like once you get stuck at like 30-ish million, and I've said this and I will say it again, I was stuck there for almost 4 years, right? And the thing that got me out of that was realizing that it kept being me. I kept trying to make me the center, but it had to be everyone else. It had to be other leaders. It had to be other people driving the growth and setting up the incentives such that like they can win big time, not just little time, but big time. And part of that I got from Schwartzman's book. in order to attract level 10 talent, you have to have a level 10